episode of the GODSUccess Teach and Pray. Today's topic is leaders and leadership. Our Bible verse is Philippians 3:13. Do your duty and keep your words as a leader. No one should have to remind you or give you multiple reminders to complete your calling. You should be so motivated to do what God called you to do. There are so many people in need of your leadership abilities. Did you notice there were 10 sick people awaiting Christ as soon as he arrived? So ask yourself, who is awaiting for your leadership? Will you show up on time without reminders? This is yours truly, MC and engineer, His Excellency the Car, Director of Operations at GODSU, and CEO of the Car Marketing Tools, an international graphic and printing company, providing you with all your marketing needs to help you and your company grow. Our popular products are GODSU African American Bibles, magazines, banners, flyers, branded golf shirts, branded jackets, and business cards. Without any further ado, our leader of the week, Reverend Dr. Leo Pickett, Chaplain, please take us away.
Savior, like a shepherd, lead us. Much we need your tender care. In your pleasant pastures feed us, for our use your fold prepare. Blessed Jesus, you have bought us, we are yours. Blessed Jesus, you have bought us, we are yours. As mentioned yesterday, all leaders, but before I start, let's say a prayer. Heavenly Father, just thank you for another day with God. You teach and pray. We ask that the words of my mouth and the music and meditations of my heart be acceptable in your sight. O Lord, you are my strength and my redeemer. Yesterday we finished by saying that all leaders were managers on their way to leadership. It is a natural path of progression. However, not all managers become leaders. Jesus speaks of this difference in responsibility in his discourse on the role of a manager in Luke 6:16. He tells the story of a manager who failed to fulfill his responsibility and was unable to account for his time and resources. In this parable, Jesus states a principle that stresses the conditions of transition from manager to leader. Luke 16:10 and 12 states that whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. If you have not been trustworthy with someone else's property, who will give you property of your own? During the years 1962 to 1972, my family and I were in Detroit, Michigan. And in 1969, I applied for and was accepted into the doctoral program. And one of our administration courses was modeled after Dr. Warren Bennett's Professor of Business Administration at the University of California. In his book on leadership, he recorded some of these differences. They are enormous and crucial. Study the list as I rattle them off. Number one, the manager administrates, the leader innovates. The manager is a copy, the leader is an original. The manager maintains, the leader develops. The manager focuses on systems and structure. The leader focuses on people. The manager relies on control, the leader inspires trust. The manager has a short-range view, the leader has a long-range perspective. The manager asks how and when, the leader asks what and why. The manager has his eyes on the bottom line. The leader has his eyes on the horizon. The manager imitates, the leader originates. The manager accepts the status quo. The leader challenges it. The manager is a classical good soldier. The leader is his own person. The manager does things right. The leader does the right things. Former President Harry Truman said a leader is a person who has the ability to get others to do what they don't want to do and like it. Now, as I wind up here, I want to make sure that a leader is one who deploys himself and by so doing inspires others to do the same. Leaders are individuals who have declared independence from the expectations of others. True leaders do not try to be, they just are. I am Dr. Leo Pickett, Chaplain and Dean for Global Ovet Day Seminary University, and founder of LP Community Foundation serving seniors through music therapy and health and nutrition. Co-host, take it away.
I just want to add one thing to what was just said about a leader. A leader don't accept no so quickly. A leader looks for opportunities to fix issues very quickly. A leader think outside the box. The reason why I'm sharing is because I believe I'm a leader. I believe that I have the attributes as a leader, and it's never going to change. I'm just going to get better at what I do because I know the Lord is with me and continue to refine me, right? This is what I believe. And the reason why I share this with you because some time ago when I was in a position in a particular business, I was going through some things. My father wasn't well, and it was a trying time for me in my life. But I know it's going to be okay. So as a leader, I kept on going to work, doing the things I have to do. But someone or the other felt there was too much for Anne Marie. So they decided to give me an opportunity, they claimed, to step down from my current position at that particular time. If I stepped down or went back, one thing about going back, especially in some areas, if you go back, it's going to be a little bit different to get forward again. So I refused to go back. I said, no, I'm going to stay in my ground. I'm a leader. I know things aren't going exactly like it's supposed to be, but I'm going to stay in my ground. I am not going back. And to God be the glory, I did not go back. I stood in my ground. Yes, I took care of business for my father, being in the hospital and being sick during that period of my time. But I tell you, to them, I pray to God, I fast, and to God be the glory. You know, we said we have faith, but you got to do something. So I kept on pressing and pushing, and that I was it was impossible. And I praise God today. I can look back at that particular time and say at that moment, I moved forward, and I'm just so grateful. So again, leaders, don't just say no so quickly. Think outside the box. Yes, there's an issue. What are you going to do to fix the issue? Don't tell is not going to happen. No. Step outside of that box, and you can do all things to Christ you. That is my view. I'm putting a period to it and not a comma. With Dr. Anne-Marie Wilkinson, Dean Chaplain, ordained minister for Global Overday Seminary and University. I also own a business, Health Fashion Focus, and this that I have on this jacket from my business. Thank you.
Jesus is the leader I emulate and follow. Leaders who pattern their leadership after Jesus are called to accomplish their organizational goals by meeting the needs of others, especially those they lead. The attitude of humble service should accompany all that we do. We have a calling in our lives to leave the world better than how we found it. That's legacy. What legacy will I leave? My legacy will certainly include leadership and humility. I am Dr. Cecilia Smith, chosen to be the leader, the founder, and the CEO of Strong Sisters of Strength Ministries Incorporated. I am honored to serve as a chaplain and assistant dean at Global Obadiah Seminary and University. Today, I choose to continue to be a servant leader for Jesus. Thank you.
What we want today is the much more without the very little. We want the tip without the toil, and a lot of times we want the gain without the grind. Today, duty, diligence, and hard work and attention to detail are rare commodities that we find in this world, and very rare commodities that we find in a lot of leaders today, but not just in the workplace, but in the home and at work and at church. I love this topic on leadership because now as I have the opportunity to be a leader in a number of areas, I think about what it took to get here. And often that meant doing some things out of the box, doing some extra things that others did not want to do because they were looking for the temporary gain right then, and eye on developing and building muscles, so to speak, and learning how to put my hand to the plow in a lot of different areas. As a Christian, I know that I'm called to be faithful in the little things before I can truly be trusted with the bigger things. So handling the small tasks at church, at work, that never bothered me because I knew that if I could demonstrate to God that I could do excellence with the little, that he would trust me with much more. So God isn't typically going to hand over something big to us if we continue to show him that we aren't willing to do work with excellence with the smaller projects. We should always be faithful in the little things if we want to be trusted with the big. Handling the little things, those are the things that have been game changers for me. I am Reverend Dr. Vicky Stokes, Assistant Dean and Chaplain here at Global Obadiah Seminary and University. And I'm also the founder of Sister to Sister Gathering, a discipleship, coaching, and mentoring program where I am in the business of making leaders. Thank you.
Great leaders practice what they preach. The qualities that they want to see in their subordinates are the qualities that they exhibit themselves. They are efficient and diligent. They keep their word. They finish the job that they have started. They have an excellent work ethic. Great leaders exhibit excellence in all areas of their lives. Their teams respect them. There may be times when they let others down because they're human, but they get back up, learn from their mistakes, and keep moving. Great leaders share knowledge by their actions and their words. These words were inspired from the book Minute Motivation for Leaders. If we remember, if we are honest in the small things, we'll be honest in the big things. And if we're dishonest in the small things, we'll be dishonest in the big things. Those are wonderful things to remember. And this is such an amazing lesson. I am Minister Alicia Moses Armstrong, Chaplain of Global Obadiah Seminary and University, founder and CEO of Agape Love Treasures and Gifts, where we share faith, hope, and love for others. Thank you.
They say in life that you really have to have three really important people that are honest and trustworthy in your life, at least those three. And that is honest doctor, honest lawyer, and an honest mechanic. And what this story reminds me of is actually a story, it reminds me of my stepdad, who was a brilliant mechanic. He only went to the 3rd grade. He was a sharecropper, but he was a brilliant man, had a great heart. And there was a story in Canada where this journalist was looking for an honest mechanic. And little did the mechanics that he was going to visit know that he took a spark plug off of one of the spark. He took the wire off of one of the spark plugs and drove into various mechanic shops. And whatever they said it was, he paid it. They didn't know that he was an investigative reporter. And so he got fees as little as $50 to $1,000. And so he runs into this one mechanic who didn't charge him anything. He said, I'm an honest mechanic. You know, I can't charge you for a loose spark plug, you know. That's all it was. I just put the wire back on. And so a couple of weeks later, a newspaper article comes out and says the world's honest mechanic. And they mention his name, his shop. And about 2 or 3 months later, he called the reporter and he said, listen, he said, you know, stop the press. He said, I have so much business right now that I've got to knock down walls, I've got to hire new mechanics, I have to build out new bays so that I can accommodate all these folks. And it just, you know, reminds us that, you know, as I mentioned earlier, if we can be trusted with little, we'll be trusted with a lot. And so, and vice versa. So it's a great story, and thank you for this story this morning. I am Dr. Willis Ebanks, proud Vice Chancellor of Global Overday Seminary and University, and also CEO of Global Alliance Technical Services, where we help get your financial house in order for generations to come, as well as we teach IT certification. Thank you.
When Christ walked in the city, what was awaiting him? 10 lepers, 10 sick people. People are depending on your leadership. Leadership cannot be inconsistent. Leadership has to be persistent. It has to be consistent. It has to be reliable. People need to know that they don't have to remind you to be a leader. They don't have to text you, email you, tweet you, Facebook you. They don't have to Instagram you to remind you of your responsibilities. As a leader, it is an internal process that manifests itself in actual acts. So leadership starts from within. How many of you get a text each morning to get up and go to work? How many of you? However, when you volunteer for the ministry, when you volunteer for GODSU, you constantly have to be reminded. Some folks are to the point, even though something is weekly or daily, they ask, where's my reminder? My answer to them is, where's your leadership? If God has called you and anointed you, don't disappoint that calling. Step up to that calling. What if Christ had not shown up to that city? What would have happened to those 10 lepers? There are people waiting for your leadership. There are people who need to hear you. There are people who need whatever it is that God has put in you. The richest place on earth is not at the bank. The richest place on earth are the cemeteries, with all the undiscovered talent, with all the regrets, with all the folks who didn't show up to their calling, to all the quitters, to all the folks where God gives you an assignment, but you choose to go do something else, to all those Jonahs. I've been a Jonah before. But I didn't like the feeling in the belly of that whale. So I've always said from then on, no matter what other people think, that I will do stuff that God tells me to do, even if it's crazy. Like God has told me, Never criticize your assignment where you're working if you're working for someone else. Either go to them and make that situation better, improve that situation, or I will give you an alternative that you create. But either it's constructive criticism where you're going to stay where you are, make it better, or you create something better, but you move according to God. And God always has someone else. If you won't do it, He will rise. He will use the skeletons, the dead folks. He will put breath in a dead person if you won't do it. He will make sure that He builds an army regardless of what it is. You just want to be the chosen one. You don't want to be someone that God has chosen and then you are derelict in your behavior and not do what you're supposed to do. Everyone should be where they're supposed to be. If God called you to do it at the time you're supposed to. Yesterday, there was a young lady who was complaining in a social media post about, oh, we need this and we need that, and we don't have this and we don't have that. And yeah, I did it. I wrote and said, you were given many opportunities and you didn't do what you're complaining about right now. Oh, I'm gonna do it. You know, it's just God's timing. And I just shook my head and said, no. And when you're ready to do it, the opportunity probably will not be available. I was just straight up with her. The opportunity will not be available because we don't give those opportunities anymore to non-alum. We don't do that anymore. There was a time when, you know, if you're famous enough, you could knock on our door and maybe we have a conference and we allow you to speak a bit. We're not doing that anymore. We told her the opportunity will probably not be there. We are just so overwhelmed with so many wonderful, great icons and titans that when you feel like it, when you get around to it, if it's on your mind, you may just have to come and sit and watch them, but you may not be able to join them. And so that's what happens is that their windows close, guys. People are not always going to be there when you change your mind and switch back and forth. They're not going to always be there. So you want to respect the responsibility of leadership that God has allowed you and not take it lightly because it can be taken away. There are others who God is preparing to be in that situation, to be in that position, to lead His people who are not wishy-washy. God doesn't like wishy-washy people. They're here today, they show up today, they're gone tomorrow. They're here today, they show up. We don't have time for that. We need consistent, persistent leadership that show up when they're supposed to without having to have constant reminders. Like today's Wednesday. How many folks have turned in their 20 minutes for 2020? Or are you guys going to wait until midnight so that the car marketing tools now has to work on his Saturday and Sunday because you chose to turn in things late? There are consequences when leadership does not show up because somebody else has to do the job. And what you have to be careful of is that if any organization, any institution, any individual gets accustomed to you not doing what you're supposed to do, they start filling in and finding other people. And when they find those other people, when you come back, your position may be gone. So you want to make sure that do an assessment, do a leadership assessment of the blessing that God has given you in a leadership position in your business, in your ministry, in your pledges that you've promised. And any of them that you see that you're lacking, take care of it. Please take care of it because you don't want to show up and then you're not welcome because you didn't do what you are supposed to do. So with that said, I want to congratulate the 20 leaders of GODSU who have shown up this week and just done a fantastic, outstanding job. And I want to remind you that please come on the Tuesday calls. There are a lot of folks who used to be on the Tuesday calls who are now only on the internet. They come when they feel like. The reason why that doesn't work is that when your name is called for the opportunity for you to introduce your business, you want to make sure you're on the call. So I want to draw attention to our Dean of Interfaith Council, Imam Dr. Talib Sharif, and thank him for the work he's done. Also want to thank our professor, Reverend Dr. William Blake, for the tremendous courses he's written, and will be teaching after we have a couple more courses, but he will be teaching this year theology. Definitely want you guys to start registering for the theology course. Her Excellency Lee Eubanks for the leadership she's doing with the Junior Ambassador Program, as well as coming on as a Dean of Administration for GODSU. Want to thank Vice Chancellor, His Excellency Dr. Willis Ebanks over our administration, Dean Dr. Morris Red, who, by the way, is transitioning from being Dean of Administration to assisting with recruiting for the chaplaincy program. So he will no longer be setting up appointments. He will no longer be in a position of interviewing folks. So people are transitioning to other things. So he will be doing that. So he's transitioning from that position. Also, Princess Sudan Eubanks, the Junior Ambassador Program, and coming on as our Tuesday night co-host, we have Her Excellency Dr. Shaquiesha Tattler, and she will be coming on Tuesday nights starting June the 1st or June the 2nd. She will be hosting, she'll be interviewing. She will share that show with His Excellency the Car, as Her Excellency Cairo has taken on a bigger role in writing the courses for GODSU, as well as she's the local Miss America pageant holder here in this area of Florida, and she's getting ready to represent on that level. So she'll be transitioning to do that. Our Director of Operations, His Excellency Lee Eubanks, who is just a phenomenal person. Minister Designate Dr. Lolita Davis, Chaplain, for her work every week. This lady has not even graduated, and every week she is sending different prospects for the chaplaincy, and she will be coming on as of this Friday evening as one of the ministers here at GODSU, and so she will be assisting with the Teach and Pray as one of our marketplace ministers. And so it's our delight to have her. Thank her. And she says she's also bringing on chaplains. She's brought on some already. We have Assistant Dean Dr. Grace Imi Ekpeng Young, who's also constantly recruiting chaplains and bringing people on. We have a new member, Imam Dr. Salim Mohammed, who's a chaplain. He's a former chaplain representing the New York, as well as over all the chaplains in the Islamic faith for many years. He's a professor for the University for Islamic and Christianity. So he's well respected, and he's already, although not graduated. I actually brought him to GODSU. I recruited him, and he will be signed up for the chaplains. He has an earned doctorate, as well as he's just an awesome individual, and he will be coming on also for GODSU. We have our wonderful Dean, Reverend Dr. Leo Pickett, who himself led today's Teach and Pray. We're so proud of him, and he's also been elevated and will be not only serving as the dean of our music ministry, but he's also now going to be one of the deans for the GODSU interview team for honors and other things. So he's already started doing various interviews and have stepped up. Dr. Leo is what age this year, His Excellency the Car? He's 84 this year. And some of the young bucks who are in their 40s and 50s has excuses why they can't do what this young man is doing. Don't limit yourself. We love you, Reverend Dr. Leo Pickett, and we're just amazed by you. And I was going to keep it a little secret, but I'm just going to let it out. 2021, Dr. Leo will be made a Goodwill Ambassador and will be addressed as His Excellency if he keeps consistently doing what he's doing for GODSU. Just wanted to let him know he'll soon be His Excellency, Reverend Dr. Leo Pickett. So get ready for that. We have Dr. Sherry Potier-Liscombe, who actually we met at a meeting here in Fort Lauderdale, and she started sending chaplains. She's not even an alum here at the school, and she's doing more than some of us. I'm telling you, you have to step up. There are others who are doing it. We thank Minister Alicia Armstrong for her constant PR and recruiting and assisting, as although she has 20 other hats that she wears and takes care of her father, she still finds the time. So we are so grateful. We're grateful for Vice Provost, His Excellency Reverend Dr. Joseph Hickman, who, along with myself, is one of the #1 folks in terms of recruiting and bringing people to GODSU. We appreciate you, man of God. And of course, our Dean, Reverend Dr. Anne-Marie Wilkinson, who is dynamite and is always working. And I would say if I'm #1, Dr. Hickman #2, she's #3 in terms of just constantly bringing and great people and not having to be reminded of her leadership. Never missing a meeting, never missing a responsibility, actually calls and asks, what else can I do? Please let me help. This is amazing. And we have there's a Dr. Sharon Terry, very, very hard worker out there. We thank you. Assistant Dean Dr. Ender Harvick Battle. This one is a quiet storm, constantly working, constantly. I recruited someone to for one of the programs, and while she was interviewing, she was saying, "Oh, Dr. Edna told me about this 2 years ago. I didn't jump on it, but when you approached me, etc., etc." So, lots of times you think that you actually did the recruiting, but there are people like Dr. Edna who are constantly talking about the school, and because of that, it's easier for us. And of course, our sweet Assistant Dean, Dr. Cecilia Wilson-Smith, Chaplain, which we appreciate her so much. Another person who calls, what else can I do? Can I do some more? I mean, it's amazing and it's wonderful having people like that in your presence. So enthusiastic. You should have heard her last night on the Tuesday call. Her elevator speech will knock you out the park. That's absolutely wonderful. And we have a newcomer, Chaplain Latonia Copeland, not even graduated yet, and out there working and bringing in folks and doing everything she ought to do. So I want to thank these 20 outstanding global workers. I am Her Excellency Reverend Dr. Lee Eubanks, here leading GODSU with your help only. Can't do it without you. And also Global Bible Institute. I'm Senior Vice President at Invita Financial Network. My expertise in that area includes retirement planning, includes showing how your child can be a millionaire, includes especially Medicare supplements and all the various Medicare plans. If you have yourself or your relatives approaching 65, please call us so we can help you. We are the GODSUccess Teach and Pray. We are your marketplace ministers. Have a fantastic day and wash those hands. God bless you. Bye-bye.